Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our returning guest, David, and a new guest, Leon, from Crowdfundr. We're here to break down their brand new initiative, Tabletop Nonstop, and everything in between. David, Leon, welcome to the show. How are you both doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I know we were talking earlier. I originally thought today the kids were going to be in school. As a matter of fact, they are not. So if you hear some Legos getting dumped out upstairs, we all know why. But
Sweet music.
Aside from that, David, how have you been? I know last time we had you on the show, we were just deep diving Crowdfundr as a whole. You know, how's everything been since then? You know, any big changes?
So it's been great. We passed the 6-month mark. Actually, we're almost at the 7-month mark since Crowdfundr launched.
Congratulations,
which
man.
has been really exciting. It's been such an amazing ride so far. We've been, all of us that have been working directly with the creators have just had a blast. It's been so much fun to be working with this community, and it's been so much fun. But we also did release a bunch of new features into the platform, like add-on shipping and add-on shipping pricing and variants. So like if you're doing a variety of covers, you don't have to create a separate reward for each cover. You can create a variant with a variant pricing for each item.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the way the add-on pricing works is you create a main price and a secondary price, an add-on price for every item, so that the way shipping works is that the most expensive shipping item is the one that gets charged fully, but then every single additional item that people are doing as an add-on, or just want to continue pledging to you, gets their shipping. That shipping gets priced at the add-on price. And so what that does is it makes the shipping a lot more reasonable and manageable and less expensive. So those are a couple of the new features that we released. We also actually released a streaming plugin for those that are streamers. Yeah. So if you stream and you've got a campaign going on Crowdfundr, you can do an overlay so that anytime someone pledges during the stream, it'll show up on screen. And
that is so cool. That is so cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of a new fun add-on. And we just got a lot of really cool stuff in the works. But the big one that I wanted to talk about is Crowdfundr Professional. So
hold on one second. Let me go ahead. What we'll do is we'll actually switch over to our campaign area and let's pull it up and kind of just look at it together while you're talking about it.
Oh, well, that'll work. Sure. So Crowdfundr Professional, the first thing that I want to say about it is that it costs exactly the same as Crowdfundr, which means it's free. Right, so there's no extra pricing to do Crowdfundr Professional. We have Crowdfundr Professional as a more sophisticated feature set that we set up for publishers who are they've got a little bit of a team that works with them that they want to assign separate permissions to for people to access different parts of their company account. But also they can work with a variety of different creators, and those creators can all have permissions to work on their own accounts, on their own campaigns, without having access to other people's campaigns. So there's a whole really cool permission layer set in there. So the idea is to really, give advanced features that are not available in any other crowdfunding platform for more advanced, sophisticated users that have greater needs. So yeah, let's talk about a little bit of the things that are in Crowdfundr Professional. You can scroll down just a little bit more. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that Crowdfundr Professional is not just for publishers, but it's also for indie creators that really have more sophisticated needs or that have their own brand. Like I know there are a bunch of creators out there, they work on their own. But they do have their own, they have a name for themselves that is not their personal name. And they may have a logo for themselves, or they would have, they're doing one main character, right? And they want to highlight that. So one of the cool things about Crowdfundr Professional is that you can use your logo and put your own theming in there with colors and stuff. And it actually takes over the Crowdfundr logo. So it becomes the whole crowdfunding page is under your brand, not ours. And that's another way that we really want to support creators and really elevate them, because we want them to build their own audience, not build our audience, right? Emails that come out are branded with your logo on it. You can put in your own Google Analytics and your own Facebook Meta pixel so that you can get your own tracking, your own analytics, not just the stuff that we give you, but really all your own information about your marketing. There are widgets that are available to you where you can pull all of your campaigns or whichever campaigns you want using tags and put them on your website. So that your campaigns can actually sit inside your website using these widgets. And so let's keep going a little further down the page.
You guys have put some work into this in the last 6 to 7 months. Holy crap, David. I am loving just how personal people can make their campaigns. That is such an awesome addition.
Well, so here's the thing. Our philosophy around crowdfunding, I think, is one that's different than what you see in the other platforms. We are all about letting the campaigns, letting the creators run their business their way. We talked about this last time. If you want to do keep it all or nothing, you can choose the type of campaign that you want. We don't ever touch the funds. The funds flow straight through to the creator. We don't have campaign limits, right? So you can run as many campaigns as you want. These are all things that they're a kind of a fundamental philosophy difference that in the way that we look at it. And I think the easiest way to kind of understand it is if you think about the difference between like Shopify and Amazon. So with Shopify, you pay to get your own store. It's your store. It's under your brand. And all of the customers that you get are your customers, right? So you communicate with them directly. You have their contact information. It's your data. You keep that information, and that's and you end up with a direct relationship. You're not contingent on another platform deciding on how you can connect with your customers. With Amazon, Amazon is they have their own stuff that they sell, but they're also this giant marketplace where suppliers come in, they put their stuff on Amazon, and then the customers are all Amazon's customers. And so, you don't actually have access to the customers. You don't have access to their information. You may have fulfillment information in order to be able to ship stuff if you're not using Amazon logistics, but they're not your customers. They are Amazon's customers. And the other crowdfunding platforms, that's the way they work. If somebody comes in and supports your campaign, they become the platform's customer, not yours. And you are a supplier to the platform, right? So there's this intermediary that comes between there. You don't own their data. In fact, your backer reports will disappear after you've done your fulfillment. You don't have a direct relationship. Everything has to go through the platform. And so, we just approach it very differently. We want the creators to build their audiences, not our audience, their audience. So that's why, we're good with taking over our brand because it's not about us. We don't have to build our audience. We want to build your audience. So put your logo in, put your colors in, make it your own, build your audience. And so that's, kind of like the foundations. It starts with, who handles the money. And since we're not getting paid and then paying you, the creator, as a supplier, but the money goes directly to the creator, they're not our customer. They're not paying us, right? So they're paying you. So that's, that's kind of where these differences come from and why we have the ability to really be much more creator friendly in that regard because of a different approach to the way the whole business works at its core.
I literally was just on Twitter earlier, and our good friend Pat shared a Twitter thread where someone was making suggestions to Kickstarter on things they could implement, and you just nailed all of that. They were talking how they had to rely on BackerKit to do a lot of that, because they would be able to get the list and everything. Another thing is cloning campaigns, having to individually make these tiers, their add-ons and everything, the ability to clone, that just takes so much of the workload out of it.
Yeah. So that's how we are. We're trying to support creators, make it easier for them. We know that creators don't want to spend their lives creating crowdfunding campaigns, right? They want to do their creations. the crowdfunding is a necessary thing to do in order to get funded, but it's not what they want to spend. People don't want to spend their time doing that, and so
They just want to make books, right?
Just want to make books. And so, we're really trying to make it. We're trying to make it as easy. So cloning is one of those features to make it really easy.
Ooh, you guys have verification badges now.
We do. Yep.
Awesome,
if you are,
dude.
In Crowdfundr Professional, you can get verified. It's not a super onerous thing. We just want to verify that you are in fact making stuff, that you have in fact fulfilled the campaigns in the past, and so it's really easy. If you are using Crowdfundr Professional and set up an organization, you can reach out to our support team, and they'll and ask for a verified badge, and they'll do a little due diligence on you, and be able to issue that. It does not cost $8 a month. It is free.
It's 11 now, I think, right?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
No.
It's so silly. But yeah, if you get verified, you do get a few additional permissions, right? We know that it's okay to give you a little bit more access to stuff, and so so that's how our verified thing works. Yeah,
that is so cool. That's so awesome, man. Crowdfundr Professional sounds like you guys are just implementing so much, like, where the other crowdfunding platforms are lacking. It's like you guys are realizing it, you're targeting it, and you're making sure that doesn't happen on Crowdfundr.
Yeah, we're not going to stop. We've got a lot of other stuff coming out later this year, which is I've learned is best to not talk about in advance, so that But there, you mentioned BackerKit. There are some things that we're doing in order to at no cost that will give you some BackerKit functionality. And don't get me wrong, I think that the stuff that BackerKit created in order to support the other platforms is amazing, and they are really great at that. But they're not the only ones that are great at stuff. So we're gonna work on some of that too. And there's and just to be clear, we're not going to be replicating BackerKit. We're going to do it again. We do things differently, so we're going to do it our way, and we hope that it will continue our creator-friendly thrust in supporting creators with the things that we do.
I love bridging that gap too, because that's the thing. Creators. They stress a lot, especially when it comes to kickstarting or campaigning or crowdfunding, anything. And it can be a very stressful time. So to really help them, that's awesome, David. That is so. Speaking of crowdfunding, though, Leon, you had a campaign that you crowdfunded on Crowdfundr, correct? Give us a little bit about who you are and an introduction to how that campaign went.
Absolutely. So my name is Leon Barillaro. I am a freelance and independent game designer. I mostly work in tabletop role-playing games, but I've done narrative design for video games, game design for like LARP and alternate reality, immersive theater, that kind of thing. And in November, I ran with one of my favorite creative partners. I ran my very first crowdfunding campaign for an independent TTRPG called Oh Captain. It is a solo journaling game where you roll a pool of dice and you build constellations from the way that they, kind of fall on your table. That is
so cool.
And you basically what happens to your captain is determined by the way that you roll. So you build these constellations, you have a ship, you are lost at sea, or you're searching for something, and each constellation is a different sort of adventure that you can have with your captain and your crew and your ship. I had done crowdfunding before. I've crowdfunded for theater. I've crowdfunded for, opening retail locations. So it was not my first crowdfunding venture, but it was my very first crowdfunding venture for me, and my very first in the space that I typically occupy, which is TTRPGs. So I didn't really have an audience outside of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, which is what I typically write for. I didn't really have an audience on a platform like Kickstarter. And I I wanted to run a campaign for several reasons. Sometimes running a crowdfunding campaign is one of the best ways to build an audience. That sort of hype around, raising funds for something that you want to create really gets people excited to back you, to support you in a way that just like paying money out of your own pocket to build a product as an indie creator does not get people excited. It's a psychological thing that is really interesting. And so because it's a really great way to build an audience, I wanted to try one. I picked an idea that I thought, I could make out of pocket, but I could make it even better with funding from my community. So, because you need to have those list of constellations, which you can see right there, you need to have really good art that is not just clear as to, where all the stars are, but also easy on the eyes and not, a couple of dots that I drew in MS Paint. So, all of that art for, all of those constellations starts to add up. So
and,
I thought
and the art on the side too, like that's gorgeous just as well.
Oh yes, our artist Al Siegel, they did an incredible job. And if you scroll down, you can see the feature on every member of the team. But yeah, art is kind of one of the biggest selling points for a game like this. And I know a lot of people were attracted to the campaign page by the key art, the cover art alone. So absolutely. I went with Crowdfundr for several reasons. The first was Kickstarter is kind of the default, right? I've been calling it the Kleenex of crowdfunding campaign platforms, because people will even use Kickstart like a verb in the way that they will say, like, can you pass me a Kleenex? Or I photoshopped it, even though they're not technically using the Kleenex brand, or maybe not even using the Photoshop program, right? But I think because of that, there are some business decisions and some platform decisions that Kickstarter made that I did not agree with. And so I started looking into, like, my first decision was I want to run a crowdfund campaign, and I don't want to use Kickstarter. And the more I looked into Crowdfundr, the more I really, really enjoyed a lot of the stances that Crowdfundr made on certain topics that were important to me. For example, the environment, rejection of blockchain, and blockchain related projects is something that was super, super important to me. And the second thing that really, really caught my eye was the amount of resources that Crowdfundr had for people who maybe are new to this or relatively new to this. They had a creator hub with a ton of webinars and toolkits for getting started. The tools were very, very easy to pick up and use immediately. And so, like you said, this is probably one of the most stressful times for a creator. And choosing a platform that can minimize that stress was something that was super important to me. Even before, so like I am a Spotlight ambassador for Crowdfundr now, but when I made this decision, I was not. And so, that having the support of the staff, that I knew I could reach out to them. I remember reaching out to someone about a specific webinar and finding out that it had been canceled. And the response that I got from the social media manager was, our webinar speaker had an emergency, but if you like, we can schedule a one-on-one between you and the speaker. And I was like, well, I don't need that much support. That's really, I appreciate that. But like, that is the level of support that the Crowdfundr staff really, really wants to provide to the creators. And so when they asked me, would you like to help us organize an event for TTRPG creators? I was like, hell yeah, this mission is, it's super, super important to me. And, when we talk about Tabletop Nonstop, I'll bring it up again, but a lot of folks that we have signed up for our Zine Month supporting event are, this is one of their first, or maybe their very first crowdfunding endeavor. And the fact that, the initiative, the support from the team, the tools that Crowdfundr have built all made them feel empowered to take this leap and take it with Crowdfundr is something that I'm really, really proud of.
That's so awesome. That has to be such an awesome feeling. Real quick, we have Antoinito over on Twitch. This is so cool. So excited to check out all of this sometime in the coming months. And we have Dr. Hino419 over on YouTube wanted to show some support, stopping in with some smiles. So that is, I love this concept as well. I mean, it's just, this art is gorgeous, and you're 100% right. You need, at the end of the day, gorgeous art is going to help, your cause that much, that much more. And I really, what you said right at the start really like hit me hard. Like, trying to do this yourself won't like generate as much hype as doing like there's something about supporting someone who's like campaigning. Like, I don't know what it is, like psychologically.
That word campaign, it's
yes.
very like, you can be a part of this. You can help make this creator's dreams a reality. And I think another aspect of crowdfunding that is really cool is that sort of under the hood look you get once the campaign funds and you move from that push to fund to, the updates are about what's going on behind the scenes. I've always been very interested in those. And so I know that it's very common for folks to want to back, even if they cannot afford to purchase at a pre-order a copy or something, they'll give like $1 or $2 to a bunch of campaigns to show their support and get access to the updates, so they can see what goes on behind the scenes, so they can see the updates and the design updates and all of that stuff. And so I feel like every time I back a crowdfunding project, I get a little bit more wisdom about other people's design processes and the production process. So, I think that also has something to do with it, right? It's like an exclusive dev blog that you sign up for.
And this campaign is still, so this acts as like a storefront, right? People can still support it. Real quick, here is the link for everyone that is watching. Be sure to check it out if you can't support.
Hey, Cody, do you see that? So this is one of the things that we do to try and encourage people to share or to subscribe. And so we occasionally have these little pop-ups that say to people, hey, you may not want to support this campaign right now, but can you help us out by subscribing? Can you help us out by sharing this with your community? So just one of those few things that we do to help on social.
And I was just getting ready to say, no, you're fine. You're fine. That's what I always tell people. If you can't back, simply putting this on social media. So that's cool how, you're doing that stuff too, because sometimes sharing it, you might not be interested, but you might have a friend or two who are going to absolutely love this. So that is great. What's next though? Are we talking about the Zine month, or do you guys want to move to the main topic of today?
Leon?
Why don't we, I'd love to talk about Zine Month a little bit as sort of the lead-in to Tabletop Nonstop. Zine Month is, it's like Christmas for indie TTRPG designers, or, any holiday that you might celebrate. My name, Leon, is Noel backwards. I'm a huge Christmas fan. So when I say something's like Christmas, it is.
That blows my mind. I never realized that until you just said it. I was like, I'm like, whoa.
Christmas is kind of like, it's my thing, right? So when I say Zine Month is like Christmas, I mean, it is a BFD, right? And what Zine Month is an event that takes place in February where folks, all indie creators, will put their zines up for sale. A lot of them will fund on platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Itch, and now Crowdfundr. And they are smaller projects, right? So you can see the list right there. Nothing perfect bound, no hardcovers. Usually they're, shorter in length. Do I have? Hang on, please give me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ones that we're looking at right now might be from the 2022 Zine Month, because 2023 hasn't yet started And so
I just organized my entire TTRPG collection yesterday, so I can show you. Here's my zine collection. I buy zines all the time. A lot of these are from zine months past. You can see, shout out, Paranormal Inc. is a great mystery if you love, murder mysteries and that kind of thing. Paranormal Inc. is like Scooby-Doo style. We've got The Wretched, which is an incredible solo game that uses a Jenga tower.
I love the foil lettering on it too.
Yeah, it's so good. The Great Bork Team. I have both the ash can and the finished product. This is a game where you are from Heidegg Studios, where you're a sled dog, and you your whole group of players are sled dogs, and you basically like create a shared language of barking as you are like going through the Arctic. Just like, so you can find
creative.
I know you can find so many amazing projects through Zine Month, and they're usually for folks who maybe have a traditional sense of what a role-playing game is, right? Like you meet with your friends once a week and you quest and it takes years. A lot of the Zine Month projects are not that way. They're projects that you can you can read this book in like 20 minutes and put together a short 2-hour session, and like that's the full game. Or solo games like The Wretched that you can, or O Captain, where you just play with yourself. And I love the mission of Zine Month. I truly believe in it. There are tons of resources online. There's a Discord server for Zine Month, which the links are, all there in that website. But not only is it great for the indie creators, but the community kind of really steps up and starts to pay attention and sort of focuses that, the community conversation onto the creators for Zine Month that month. So in the Discord server, folks are, meeting up and supporting each other and collaborating, and the press outlets, turn their attention to the zines for that, for that month. And it's just a really, really awesome community event.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And for everyone watching, right here is the link too. I know we do have quite a bit of a tabletop RPG players that follow, so be sure to check it out. They haven't done 2023 yet, so right there these are going to be the same guidelines for this year's, correct?
Yeah, Zine Month starts February 1st. It always takes place in the month of February. So there are a bunch of products that you can, if you go on Twitter and you search Zine Month or hashtag Zine Month, hashtag Zemo, you can find folks starting to advertise their products that are going to go live in about 2 weeks.
That is so awesome. I love it. I love it so much. And we're starting to break into tabletop RPGs more and more. Comics and tabletop goes almost hand in hand. And as I venture deeper into the indie game, like the video game scene, those even more go hand in hand. So it's so awesome to see just the focus on indie and how everyone is starting to work together more and more. So I think with this would be a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and break into Tabletop Nonstop. This is a tabletop RPG creator spotlight. So for everyone watching, right here is the link for this. David, I'll let you take the wheel, or Leon, whoever, and give us a little bit about what this is about.
So I'll just give a little bit of background, and then I'll let Leon really delve into it more. But it's like you said, Cody. Comics and TTRPG are really closely related, and we have been just absolutely loving working with the comics community, and have been starting to meet people in the TTRPG community. And we decided that we really wanted to support Zine Month and to support the TTRPG creators that were going to be releasing their zines in Zine Month, and to give them a place where they could do that, and more importantly, a lot of resources to help them on that journey. And so that's why we decided to create Tabletop Nonstop. And Leon, who has been leading this initiative for us as our Spotlight ambassador, can tell you more about what they've been doing to make it happen.
Absolutely. So this Spotlight has kind of, as the project manager, two major initiatives, right? The first is getting folks to sign up and participate in the spotlight, which we started around October with that. And then the second initiative is providing support to the creators who have signed up. And so at the moment, I'm moved almost like exclusively in the latter, because the event is beginning 1 week from today, and we have about 36 to 37 creators signed up.
Wow.
We have over 20 who have basically confirmed they're locked in. They've told us when, their campaign is going to launch and all of that stuff. We have like 5 projects that are going to launch 1 week from today that I'm very excited for. And it's the fun thing about Tabletop Nonstop is it is not just zines. We're kind of like, there's a Venn diagram between Tabletop Nonstop and Zine Month, where a lot of our projects are zines. We're getting a lot of folks from the Zine Month community participating with us, but we're also getting a lot of folks who are running other projects. For example, 1 week from today, we are going to see a campaign for the Unexplored Horde, a TTRPG hobby and interview show, where Cage Fry, who is a community manager in the space and a game designer in the space, is going to be interviewing game designers and talking about their hobbies that have nothing to do with TTRPGs, which I can't imagine that. It's very healthy to have a hobby that is not related to what you do for a living, and maybe one day I will find one. But so you won't see me as a guest on that, but you will see a ton of other amazing creators on that. We also have a very, very cool actual play coming from the Gallant Goblin, Love and Hate in the Mana Wastes, which is a Pathfinder actual play that's going to start their campaign on Monday as well. And, for those who are unfamiliar, an actual play is when people get together and play their game, and they record it. And so the performance aspect of playing this game elevates it in a way to a totally different form of expression than just getting around and sitting at the table with your friends, because there's, a lot of effort or extra work that is involved in terms of developing these characters and planning things out beforehand. And some folks will do costumes and makeup and really, really start to embody their characters. If you've seen Critical Role, it's that.
It's almost like a theater experience, right?
It is basically a combination of theater and improv and all of these different. It's a brand new art form. There are academics who are studying just actual plays at this point. So, to have an AP, as they're commonly called, funding on Crowdfundr is so cool. Like the whole gamut of projects from zines and folks who are funding for the first time to actual plays. We also have starting on next week, Pesto's Guide to Testing, a comprehensive guide to TTRPG testing. Pesto, also known as Spencer Hibnick, is the lead contract tester for NCDM, who is basically a powerhouse publisher in the TTRPG industry. And he's going to be crowdfunding a guide that includes all of his secrets. And so we have resources for creators that are like basically going to be projects on this thing. So I really feel like there's going to be
storytelling collective also.
The storytelling collective, that is right. Halfway through, somewhere in the middle of February, the storytelling collective is going to be releasing their Write Your First Adventure workbook. The Storytelling Collective is a company that their entire brand is about fostering creativity and helping new writers get their start. Their flagship program is the RPG Writers Workshop, which is actually how I got my start as a writer. And their mission is very, very in line with crowdfunders. So, we set up a meeting with them, and they want to use Tabletop Nonstop for this product. But there is something for everyone. Truly, I truly believe that. Even with like just the 21 projects that we have signed up right now, confirmed right now, and the more that we're going to be getting in the next couple of days, I've seen there's a single or 2-player game about a haunted magic school that is going to be incredible. There is a TTRPG about ghosts that pilot mechs, like giant robots, like Gundams. There's there's just like so much stuff. Oops, All Draculas, a TTRPG where everyone plays a Dracula.
That's awesome too.
Just the gamut of really, really cool and amazing products that I will not be able to shut up about. And another thing that I think is just really cool is a lot of the creators who have signed up are people that I have really, really admired and looked up to and respected in this space, that, I kind of reached out and was like, hey, can I give you a demo for this product? And now they're going to be part of this event. And I'm just like, I'm so excited about it, because the amount of creativity and the amount of passion that comes out of this community is amazing. It's incredible. And to get to help foster that and empower them to make the stuff that I am going to lose all my money on very quickly next month. It's just a full circle. I actually have Christmas money that I have been saving because I know that it's all going to go right here.
So David, how did you feel getting the opportunity to really shine a spotlight on tabletop? I know Crowdfundr mostly probably dealt with comics, but diving into this new area, how are you feeling?
So, I mean, it's an incredible learning experience for me personally. To see the scope of TTRPG, I didn't really, understand what the indie scene was about for TTRPG, and to see the scope of creativity and the ideas that people come up with, and the way that they incorporate just their own personal interests or their own secondary hobbies into TTRPG, or the level of creativity in the indie scene compared to the commercial scene is incredible. And which is, I mean, I discovered that in comics too, and was really excited about it, and to see it again in TTRPG is just been really it's so much fun and so interesting. And again, this is another community that it's tight-knit, that is really supportive in the same way that I saw that comics was. And it's just been an absolute joy to get to meet these creators and to see their work. And we're really excited about it because, it's an opportunity for us to support another community that needed a place to fund their creativity. And that we can help. So that always feels great, to just start seeing that happening. It feels amazing.
Having 20 confirmed campaigns, possibility of another 10, 16 more, that has to be an awesome turnout. Were you guys blown away by, everyone getting ready to sign up?
I think so. Something that was actually kind of funny is that when we started in October, I think we were in what I would like to call the eye of the crowdfunding planning storm. So when we were like, all right, we're going to do it in February because we want to support Zine Month, and we really want to position ourselves as a great platform for folks who are looking to do something fun for Zine Month, or something a little bigger. If you have a project and it's too big for Zine Month, you can put it on Crowdfundr too. And so in October, I call it the eye of the storm, because if you are funding or planning to crowdfund something in February, typically by October, you already have or those details kind of figured out. So I was talking to, in October, I went to Big Bad Con, which is, shout out to Big Bad Con, my favorite TTRPG convention. It's in San Francisco. They're great. And I was speaking to a lot of publishers and, handing out the flyers that I had brought and been like, yeah, so if you're planning on doing a crowdfunding project anytime soon, email me, call me, I'll get you a demo, maybe February. And they looked at me and they were like, maybe February 2024. Like, what do you mean? We have everything all planned out for the next 2 years. What are you talking about? And, even when talking to other indie creators, a lot of their response was, yeah, I'll definitely look into it, but you're not going to see anything from me in time for February. And then, we reached out to the Zine Month folks and we didn't hear anything in October, because the thing about the Zine Month folks is that they work on an entirely different schedule than that sort of long-term, larger project schedule. And so I think really, around November, we were starting to get worried that, maybe we just didn't have enough lead time. And then we finally made contact with the Zine Month folks, and we got into their Discord server. And, what's cool and fun about Zine Month is that folks didn't make the decision to put something up for Zine Month until like late December, early January. That's kind of... Yeah, that's when we started to get, a lot of the Zine Month signups and folks who were, super interested in taking advantage of both events, which is also like that exhilarating DIY attitude is really, really cool to me. Of like, I'm a very I'm a planning heavy person. I like to come up with a plan. I like to show everyone the plan. I like to think about the plan for a week and change the plan, and then revisit the plan every week as we're moving through something. And so like it completely baffles me that other people will just kind of like sit there during the liminal week between December 25th and the new year and go, yeah, I could make a game in a weekend. Put it up on Crowdfundr in February. I'm like, how do you do that? Like totally. I'd like to, get to the point where I can do that maybe someday. But between the end of December and now, it has been, so cool to see a bunch of folks coming in. We also brought on a second ambassador to the TTRPG space, Fleet Dietrich, who has been doing a ton of amazing work, bringing in folks. And we kind of, the way that I've been describing it is that, Fleet will make contact with a bunch of people that they know and be like, hey, I got this cool new platform that you might want to check out. And then Fleet will, set it up in volleyball terms and then give them over to me. I'll give them the demo. And that's the spike, because, the features, the support team, every aspect of Crowdfundr, when I show it to a lot of folks, they cannot help but get excited about it. And, going back to the features of Crowdfundr Professional and all the customization features that Crowdfundr has, something that I noticed is, when I give demos, I try to give the designers use cases that will be relevant to them, right? So the variant aspect is something that is very common for comics in particular, but maybe not as common to sell variant covers or variants of a certain thing for TTRPGs. So I'll try to say something like, well, you could do a variant that is an autograph, or a variant that is something else. That is a good point.
That is a good point.
But what I've noticed is that because they're game designers, a lot of people that I give demos to will just immediately come up with another use case. Like, oh yeah, I could use it to have, like, maybe I could have two different supplements, like a Pokemon situation. You know how like the two different Pokemon games have two sets of Pokemon. They're like, yeah, like one could have these monsters, the other one could have these monsters. And I'm like, Are you game designing your crowdfunding campaign right now? Is that what's happening? It's
like how do you do this, and then how do you do this while doing that? Like, No, I love it. This is awesome. For everyone watching, it's running from January 23rd to February 28th, 2023. They're turning the spotlight onto tabletop RPGs. Man, this is so awesome. For everyone watching, right here is the link. Once again, be sure to check it out. So it is time for us to begin wrapping things up. Leon, David, I appreciate you both coming on the show, breaking things down. Real quick, for anyone that might be on the fence about signing up, registering, what would you guys like to say to them to kind of help push them over that fence?
I would say, give me a DM. I'm Barillion. You can see that up there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I have been giving demos to a lot of folks. I have been also doing consultations. And if I can't answer a question or I can't give you the right guidance, I will point you to someone on the team who can. We're here and we want to help you succeed. And if you are on the fence about maybe signing up, let's work together. Let's see if I can't maybe give you. I'm also really good at pep talks too. So if that's what you're waiting for, I'm real good at that. And chances are I want to buy your game. So I'm going to be really selfish and convince you to put it up on Crowdfundr because I need more games to play. I'm hoping that my zine collection will double by this time next year. So help me do that.
I think that's great, Leon. And what I would add to that is that, is just like no project is too big for Crowdfundr, there's no project too small for Crowdfundr. And so if you've just got, a small zine that you want to do or a larger game, whatever it is, it's worth giving it a shot because crowdfunding will help you build your audience. And that's the key is that you doing that event, generating that kind of excitement is what helps you build your audience. And Crowdfundr is a great place to do that because you get to own your audience through Crowdfundr. So I think it's worth trying. And if it's the great thing about it is that if you don't succeed, you really haven't risked anything except maybe your dignity. But it is absolutely worth trying and just seeing where it goes. Live the adventure.
Absolutely. For everyone out there, be sure to check it out. Right there is the link in chat. January 23rd to February 28th. If you are tabletopping, get in on the spotlight, get your game funded, and let's get to playing. Let's get to throwing some dice, rolling some dice, hitting some criticals. I appreciate both of you coming on, breaking things down. Hopefully I didn't sound like a boomer. I haven't played a lot of tabletop, so hopefully I did you guys justice. David, Leon, thank you so much for swinging by. Everyone watching, I hope you have a fantastic Monday, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.